Hello everyone, it's Anna, and for today we'll be discovering arithmetic and modulo operator that we can use in JavaScript. This includes addition, subtraction, and all the basic arithmetic expressions that we have, as well as the modulo that we'll discover in this video. So again, if you like this video, give it a like down below, and you can also comment down what videos you want us to do next. So let's get started. Okay, so for today, we'll be discovering operators in JavaScript, and we will start with the more basic ones, and then we'll get into advanced operators. So to first start things off, we need Visual Studio Code as our code editor or our IDE, our integrated development environment. And I also created here a folder named JavaScript Practice, and what I'm going to do is open that folder up in VS Code. And like so, I already have that open right here. So first of all, I'm going to go to View, because we're going to check something, and that is Node.js. And we need to check if we have Node installed so that we can test things out without having to go into another console. So I'm going to type in here Node-v, and that stands for Node version. And if it shows up on some numbers right here, mine is 20.11.0, that means I have Node installed in my machine. And if you don't have it installed, if it doesn't show that version number, just go to your browser and go to nodejs.org and download the LTS one. Just click on this one. And this is recommended for most users. And then once it's downloaded, just simply go through the installation setup and you're good to go. Then you can just check again right here with the Node-v if it's successfully installed. All right, so now that we have Node, we can now create a new file in our folder named script.js. All right, and first we're going to discover basic ones, and the first one is arithmetic. Okay, arithmetic operators. And for the arithmetic operators, these are just basic ones that allow you to perform mathematical calculations on numeric values. So basic arithmetic operators are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and we'll also have one which is modulus. Okay, so let's go here and we'll create a new variable, which is num1, okay? And this will have the value of 10. Next, we will have another variable, num2, and this one will have the value of 3. All right, so we're going to go through these arithmetic operations like so. So first, let's sum. We're going to create a variable to store our sum, and we're going to assign that the num1 plus a num2. So that's how simple you can use the operations. We just use the usual symbols for each operation. And how about for the difference? Let's see. For subtraction, we'll create another variable and we'll assign num1 minus a num2. Okay, and in a while we'll see the result of these ones. Next, we have for multiplication, which is a product, that will be simply num1 times, and that is denoted by an asterisk, num2. Right? That's how you multiply. And then a quotient when you're dividing. So let quotient equals num1 divided by a num2. So we use a / for that. All right, so let's see these results for now. And we're going to use console.log right here to log this answers out in the console. So let's say the sum is, and then we'll put in comma, and then the sum variable. All right, and we'll just do that again, console.log, the differences, and then call the difference variable right here. So it would show up in the console, and I'll do the same for the product and the quotient. So I can use the shortcut log here, and right here that says log to the console, I'll just press tab, and then I proceed to saying that the product is, and then product. And finally, I'm going to log out again, the differences, and then, the quotient is, okay, oops, let's put a comma right there to separate those from the text and the variable. Okay, and finally, we can go to View, and I'll go to Terminal, and I'll run the command node, and then the file name, so it can run the file, which is script.js. And there we go. There's an error here. Let's say difference, like that. Was wrong spelling. And let me run that again. And there we go. It's 13, 10 plus 3, 10 minus 3 is 7. 10 times 3 is 30. And the quotient, 10 divided by 3 would be 3.333, and so on. All right, so I also mentioned another operator or arithmetic operator, which is the modulus operator or modulo. Okay, so let's say this is modulo. You can call it either way. And this is simply returning the remainder when the first operand is divided by the second. So let me show you. Let's say let modulo equals num1, and then we use a percentage symbol like that, and then num2. Okay, and this way, what this will do, it will divide num2, or it will divide num1 by num2, and whatever is remaining, or the remainder, if there are any, it will show as the modulo. Okay, so 10 divided by 3, that would be 3 with a remainder of 1. So 1 should be the value of this modulo. So let's log that out in a console. Console.log. The remainder is, and then let's call the modulo variable. And let's see, I'm going to run nodescript.js again. And I can actually not manually type it. I can just tap on or press on the up arrow key on my keyboard to go back to the previous command on the terminal, like so, and press enter. There we go. The remainder is 1. All right, next operators that we'll discuss is the assignment operators. All right, so these are just operators that are used to assign values to variables. So the most basic assignment operator in JavaScript is the equal sign. And that is, we're just equating a value to, or assigning a value on a variable. So let's say we have variable x. We'll use the equal sign to assign the value of 10 to x. Okay, and let's console.log. Okay, the value of x is, then we'll put in x right there. All right, and let us try that out. Node script.js, press enter. There we go. The value of x is 10. So we also have other assignment operators, which are compound assignment operators, wherein you combine an arithmetic operation with assignment. So let's say that would be plus equals, minus equals, or an asterisk equals, and I'm going to show you what that does. So let's say we are putting here plus x plus equals 5. Okay. So what this does is it's going to add 5 to the current value of x and then assign that new value to x. So this x is 10, right? So we add 5 to that, it will be 15. Now the value of x will be 15. So let's try that out. I'm going to run to node script.js again, and there we go. The value of x is now 15. So what if we put in a minus equals like so? So it's pretty similar, but this time it's subtraction. So it's getting 10 and minus 5, and then assigning that new value to x. So now our x should be 5. And let's try also with the asterisk. Then that would be multiplying x by 5 and then assigning that new value, which would be 50. There we go. Let's also try with a division. Okay, with a forward slash right there. Then we're dividing 10 by 5. Then that would be 2. So the value of x should be 2. There we go. And finally, we also can do the modulo operator here. So what this does is it's going to divide the value of x by 5, and whatever the remainder will be, it will be the value of x. So in this case, 10 divided by 5 would be 2, and there will be no remainder, so the value of x would be, of course, 0 right there. All right, so for the next operator we'll discuss, these are the comparison operators. Okay, and these are operators used to compare two values, and then it will return a Boolean result. So it will return true or false, whether the comparison is true or, of course, it's not. Okay, so first, let's create two variables like right here. Let's say num1, and num1 would be 10. And we have another variable, num2, and let's say this will be 20. Okay, and we're going to log out in the console whether the comparison is true or false. So for the first comparison, we have the equal to comparison, wherein we're putting in two equal sign to compare the two values. So let's say we are comparing num1 and 2 equals, double equal sign, and then num2. Okay, let me put in some spaces so that's more readable. Okay, so what this is comparing is whether num1 is equal to num2. So let's see, node script.js. And there we go. It shows false because, of course, our num1 is not equals to num2. And if we can also do not equal, so that would be with an exclamation point and then an equal sign. So that would be figuring out if num1 is not equal to num2. Okay, and as we can see, it's not equal to each other. So it should return true, okay? Because num1 is not equal to num2, so it does satisfy that comparison. And we also have greater than, which will be an angle bracket like this, with a bigger side pointing to this to the left side. Then num1 is, of course, not bigger than num2, so this should return false. And finally, we can also do less than, which is going to be true. Let's run that again. There we go, it's true. But we also have operators like greater than and equal to, so that figures out if num1 is greater than or equal to num2. Let's say num2, I'm going to change this one to 10, okay? And let's see what that results. There we go, it says true because 10 is equals to 10, and that is part of our equation. So that also goes for the less than. So let's say num2 is a 9, okay? Then that should also return true. Oh, I mean that num1 is less than num2, which is not true in this case because we put num2 as less than num1. Another operator that we commonly use is the logical operators. Okay, so these are used to perform logical operations on Boolean values. So there are three main logical operators in JavaScript, and those are AND, OR, and logical NOT. Okay, so let me show here. But let's say we have a value here, which is a, variable a, and this is equals to true. And let's say we have a variable b, and this is equals to false. Okay, so now we're going to log out in the console. Let's log out in the console a, and then and b. So the symbol for and, or logical and, that would be double ampersand, like this, and then the second value. So what this AND operator that does is that it returns true if and only if both operands are true. So in this case, these two are not true, only one of them are. So it's going to return false. Okay, let's see. Node script.js. There we go, it's showing false. And we do have another operator, and this is the console log. This will be the OR operator. Okay, so that logical OR operator would be two pipe symbols like this, and then the second condition, or the second operand. And what this does is it returns true if at least one of the operands is true. So right here we have a is true, then this one should return true. There we go, we have true right there because at least one of these operands is true. And it will only be false if both are false. So we do have one more, and this is the logical NOT. So let's see here, console.log, and I'm going to figure out the logical NOT of the value of a. So I use an exclamation mark right there, exclamation point, and then a. So what this is doing is it returns the opposite Boolean value of the operand. So in this case, a is equals to true. So we're getting the opposite of that, which is false. So this should return false. So let's see. There we go. Our last value is false. But if we try that with the b value, which is currently false, and we get the opposite of that, that will be true. There we go. Another operator we'll be discussing is the unary operators. Okay. And this is when it acts on only one operand. Okay, so that means on only one variable it works. So let's start with the increment value. So right here, I'm going to create a variable num, and this will be 5. And let's say I want to increment this. So that means I'm going to be increasing the value of this variable by 1. So to do that, we select the variable, or we type in the name of the variable, and then put 2 plus signs after. And what this does is it's adding 1 to the current value, which is 5. Now our num would be 6. So let me console.log. The value of num is, then num right here. Let me run that with a node script.js like we always do. And there we go. The current value of our num is 6. We also have decrement, which is decreasing the value of its operand by 1. So that would be, let's go back here to the num. Instead of 2 pluses, we're going to put 2 dashes, like so. Then that's removing 1 from the current value. So let's run that again. Now the value would be 4 because 5 minus 1 would be 4. You can also have one single dash sign to equate it to a negative number. So let's say here, I'm going to remove this one. Let's say we want another variable here. So let x, and then we want x to be the negative value of num right here. So we just put in a dash and then the variable num, and this should get the value of num and equate it to be a negative number. So I'm going to display that here. The value of x is x. Let's see. There we go. The value of x is a -5 because we put in that unary operator. And finally, for this tutorial, we'll be discussing one more operator, and this is the ternary operator. Okay, so this operator is actually a more concise way of how to write conditional statements in JavaScript. So this is also known as the conditional operator. So for this one, it takes in 3 operands. So first will be the condition, followed by a question mark, and then a value to be returned if the condition is true, and a value to be returned if the condition is false. All right, so let me actually show you what this does. So let's say we have a variable here for age, and the age would be 20. Okay, and let's also create a variable for message right here, let message, and this is where we put in the ternary operator. So it starts with a condition. So we put that in some parentheses right here, and the condition would be if age is more than or greater than or equals to 18. So right now that is our condition. We put in a question mark, and this is the start of the ternary operator. And then the next value we'll put in here is what shows up, or what will it return, or what will be the value for this message if this condition is true. So it will just equate the value of message to be you are an adult. Okay, and we'll put in some colons after that first operand, and we'll put in a colon right there after that second operand of what will show up if this condition is true. And for the last value we will put in what shows up, or what will be the value if this condition will turn out to be false. So let's say you are a minor. Okay, so depending on this condition right here will be the value of the message. It's going to be either you are an adult or you are a minor. So let's see that in action. Let's console.log, and we're going to log out the message. So because the age is 20, then it would probably show this one. You are an adult because the age is more than or equals to 18. So let's see. Node script.js. There we go. It's showing you are an adult. But if we change this one to be 16, and we're going to run that again, there we go. It shows you are a minor. So it's like a really concise way of writing if-else statements. So imagine this is the if age is greater than or equals to 18, and then this is what it will do. And then this is anything else that doesn't satisfy the condition. So those are the operators, the more basic operators that we use and the more common ones that we use in JavaScript. And I hope you were able to learn something with these operators, and I hope you can use them on your own programs. And we hope to see you again in another video, and give us a like if you liked this video. Thank you, everyone.